So hello, this is my next game. My name's Cosmo D. Thank you for everybody who's tuning in. I know some of you are just starting to come and check it out. Here, I'll turn down the sound. I've implemented volume and dice bounciness actually from the get-go. But yeah, I wanted to make sure people could have the options they need going into the game like right away. Um, this is my next game. It's called Betrayal at Club Low. It is uh, a new experience for me. It's a kind of a left turn in terms of my style and in terms of my approach as a developer, in that it brings in RPG elements. It brings in kind of third-person adventure elements, cinematic camera framing. Um, you're not a a one-person self-directed viewer anymore. Now you're actually you're a person in the world. You see a representation of you. Um, Whereas in past games, it was sort of like the silent protagonist, which was great, and I still think that's like a creatively rich space. For this game, I wanted to do uh, an experience where you see yourself in the world. Why can't you see the logo of the game in the main menu? Good question. Um, I might put it in, uh, but I do like the idea of it kind of speaking for itself. It's almost like some movies that never have a title screen. They save it to the very end. I actually did that with Norwood Suite. In Norwood Suite, you see the text, but you don't see the actual like logo and the title. It's kind of hinted throughout. Maybe I'll bring it in at the end, or maybe I'll bring it in as you're panning out from the one of the all the 11 endings, and you'll see the title screen appear. Then we'll see. But that's kind of a stylistic choice, uh, and I haven't yet um, committed one way or another. I think if I do like the logo is there and it's helpful, and it's I'd say it's more conventional to bring it in earlier, but in general I'm open. I haven't decided, like the UI layout in general. The wall is pretty empty. Yeah, I mean there's a way I could weave it in thematically with the setting. Um, yeah, that's definitely a possibility. So I'm gonna turn up the volume. Let me know if the levels are weird, and then we're just gonna jump into it. So new game, and all of a sudden you notice right from the get-go you have some difficulty levels here. Um, you can enter your name, much like my last game. You could enter your name. I'm gonna just say Cosmo D for my name. Tutorial active. You don't have to do a tutorial. You can just skip it, but I am gonna do it for the sake of this demonstration. You have these three difficulties. This is also kind of work in progress. I think the laid back difficulty um, is probably less laid back than it could be, and hard is as hard as it gets. The balance has been an ongoing conversation, and it's an ongoing exploration, um, but that's okay. I'm working on it now. This game is going to be coming out uh, in September. I don't have a hard date yet, but I'm giving myself the summer to really polish this down. And you, as players, can play the demo in its current form, which I will be updating through the summer based on feedback. Okay, so 4 a.m. mode is good question. Shout outs to Cheesy K. 4 a.m. mode is a mode that exists. It's kind of like a new game plus. It's like you beat the game, or you achieve what you want to achieve with the game without getting caught or without getting hurt or whatever. Like somehow you beat the game, you achieve the mission. Then this mode unlocks. And basically what I've done for 4 a.m. mode is I've given all of the players and characters you're going to meet some really wacky uh, things that they'll be able to do in terms of the dice. And once I show the game, I'll be able to further explain what that means. But basically, 4 a.m. mode is like a crazy new game plus that makes things super wacky. It's like it's 4 a.m. Like the game is set at midnight, but now it's 4 hours later, and everybody's like been on the dance floor for 4 hours, and and you, if you've ever been out dancing till 4 in the morning, crazy stuff happens at 4 in the morning. Like you enter. It's like the fifth set in a game of tennis. Like you just enter this heightened state of like, oh my god, I'm so tired, but I'm not, and the sun is gonna come up at any moment, and it's nuts. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with 4 a.m. mode. Custom is nice because custom kind of gives you a little bit more control over the various difficulties, and I sort of designed these are arbitrary numbers, but I've tried to balance the game experience for the player to say, okay, I only want to start with 15 cash, or oh, I want to start with 60. If I do like a full-on story mode, I might double that and say start with 120, spend it how you want, reroll limit. I'll explain that as it comes. Max health, everything's just a little more generous. There's a little bit more give when you get in trouble, and then as it gets harder, there's less. And then, it's really up to you how you want to do it. So I'm gonna just dive in now, without further ado, and this is the beginning of the game. DJ Bogart. This is a callback actually to Norwood Suite. DJ Bogart was the DJ in Norwood Suite. October 2016 is when that game was released. So, and Chad Blueprint is referenced in that game as well. I think all of my games share the same kind of fictional universe, but they all kind of nod to each other. But you don't have to play the other games to enjoy this. It's kind of like come in and out where you want. Like they share a lot of the same characters, but it's not a chronological like, oh, you have to have played this to now understand this. You could follow the through line if you want, or you don't have to. So that's kind of where my head's at with how the narrative is. So okay, this is me teaching the game. There's only one text in the loading bar, but that's not to say I couldn't put more in for release. So, okay, and then it's saying click on objects, interact. This is, if you've ever played some of the old BioWare Black Isle RPGs, there were always these things you could click on that didn't do much except give flavor or give like background. So that's kind of how that works. So, but then there are things that you can click on that you interact with. So here we go. This is our first interaction. Muriel, your old mission handler, she's been there for you since the original Off-Peak, and she's back at it to give you your next assignment. So that's, hold on, make sure I don't have, good. Blame it on the train. If you want me to make any specific choices, I'm open. You admit that you're working on keeping a personal, This is just some teaching how the general interface works. I think the tutorialization of this game has been one of the bigger challenges, because I am teaching not only how to play the game, how to move in the world and click and what the shift key does, but also this specific system, which I haven't really seen in other digital games. I've seen it in board games, I've seen it obviously in tabletop games, but in terms of actually what this is doing, so here, we're basically, this is dice, their dice versus my dice. You click, and it rolls these dice. Yeah, I'd say there is an official timeline. It's all roughly in my head, but and if you follow the the time. If you follow the narrative thread, it all lines up. Um, I don't want to, like, if it was a prequel, quote unquote, I would be very explicit, but right now everything kind of just happens in sequence. It's a loose sequence, but it's a sequence. So yeah, to win, roll higher or tie. And to re-roll, click on the die you want re-rolled, and then click the button. So, I mean, I could re-roll or not, but I think I'm just going to accept it. So I get some money. And, yeah. Take a look at the ID. Try to remember as much as you can. So this is where the RPG influence really starts to come to the fore. You access your character sheet, and it shows you your skills. And there are 7. Cooking, deception, music, observation, physique, wisdom, and wit. And I wanted to create a system that was very much in the spirit of what you would be doing in my other games. So there is one kind of physical or more aggressive skill, but most of these are to deal with food and the arts and human relationships. So, but these are all dice. These are all 6-sided dice that I'm customizing. So I'm going to do that. It's sort of up to you if you. So this is answering. Do we play the same person in every game? I don't want to make a distinct declaration that you do or you don't. If you want to be yourself in the games, you can. If you want to sort of see yourself as like a different person from game to game, that's okay too. I intentionally leave it up to the player to decide who they are in the world. In this is the first game I don't do that. This is the first game I sort of say, you are this person. You are this blue pizza delivery person. So what made you late for the mission? Right now, what's making me late for the mission is, explain the elaborate meal you were making. Notice if Muriel's dashboard is running a little fast. And yeah, you can change your skills on the fly when you're deciding what you want to do. But then, yeah, I'll just say, this is good. I got some good numbers here, so I'm gonna just try it. You think Muriel may have gotten the time wrong? So tie wins. Oh, we don't have the. Yeah, cool. All right, let's do it. Success, barely. Okay, tie's good. Okay, it's true. The clock is set 15 minutes fast. I like that how there's an option to skip the tutorial. Yes. As somebody who's replayed this a lot, I needed that, and because this game is meant to be replayable, it I think needs to have as little friction as possible, getting players to vibe on the experience, just get into it. So yeah, here's the situation. So Gemini J, so they're giving you the mission now. You can read through this more in the demo, so to see it for yourself. But basically, you're trying to get into a nightclub, rescue somebody, get out. Hopefully with that person. So this is my kind of mission quest clue sheet. Get into the club, rescue Gemini J. They're in the VIP section. Big Mo's got him penned. So yeah, I'm walking down. We've got 100 years ago, city dwellers used to go upstate to hunt esoteric beasts. Their descendants often inherited the trophies. So yeah, just a little bit of world flavor. Uh-oh. Just as you're crossing over the crevasse, a foul-smelling steam erupts from the canal. You cannot avoid it. Shout-outs to Lillian, fellow New York dev. So the buildings, you're asking about the buildings. Sir Carteau asks about the buildings going up and down. The buildings, if you played Norwood Suite, I also did this. I like the idea that the music in this city is so, how hyped up that the buildings are yeah, having the party. Uh, and the city feels so alive that it's like vibrating down to its foundation. Ooh, I'm going to recognize some familiar scents. Why not? Okay, so I get to re-roll 2 more times in the base difficulty of the game. It lets me re-roll all of my dice 2 more times. Ah, I got it. And I got some money, but I also got some conditions. So conditions are like things that happen that add friction to the game. They basically show you, oh, okay, you're getting far in this game. Well, hold on, you gotta you succeed or you fail. We're gonna throw some challenge your way. So if you roll, basically determined, it affects several of your skills. So if you roll that, if you do an action that deals with that skill, the condition will also be rolled. So this is explained in the tutorial. And now we introduce health. You have 2 sets of health. So you gotta watch out. Some condition dice are helpful, others are harmful, others are both. Yes, usually the yellow conditions are harmful. If you roll this face here, you lose health. If you roll this face, you lose a nerve. If you roll this, you subtract 1 from a roll. And I try to be clear with my tooltips too, so that everybody knows what is happening all the time. But when you've rolled it, it goes away. So you might have a lot of conditions, but you gotta just roll through them. Just like when you're in a real club or wherever you are, sometimes you just gotta fight through whatever you're feeling in that moment and just ride it out. You can avoid it, but eventually it'll catch up to you. If my sound is okay, let me know, or don't. If the sound is uneven, let me know. But otherwise, I'm going to assume that you can hear me speaking clearly, and the audio is kind of humming in the background. Yeah. So if you find yourself a lot of cash, spend it. Definitely spend it. And spend as much of it as you can, because it's not as easy to make cash in the most recent build as it has been. Again, I've been dealing with some balancing finesse. I've been working on the balance to make things feel very tense and exciting without it being unfair. Cool. Shout outs to Jay. Let me see if there's something you want me to pour some money into. I'm definitely open to your suggestions. I've been doing a little cooking and observation. I'm kind of like a chef that watches the recipe carefully. How do I do my character models? That is a bit of a secret, but I will say it's a mix of kind of some of my old Mixamo models that I've kind of kept running. I think this is an old Mixamo model, and then the heads are a secret. I'll tell you that another day. But some of you who know how I do my head modeling, it's a little wild. Basically, it involves photos. It involves live photos. I'll leave it at that. Oh yeah, I'll add some wit if I can afford it. Yeah, sure. I'm kind of spreading the money around for this one, and I think I'm gonna get into some pizza. I had pizza last night. It's nice to finally revisit the subject of so many of my games. Time to make some pizzas. So this is the final layer of sort of gameplay that I'm teaching the player. The idea of the pizza dice. Basically, this is more opportunities to customize your dice. When you roll these dice, they're always rolled. They can either make you money, or they can heal you. So let's definitely want to earn $4. We got some. So this is buffalo mozzarella. This is the best stuff. This is the good quality. This is the quality stuff. And then we have the factory mozzarella, which you could get on your regular 99-cent slice. And then, ooh, we got, this is, you don't always get this at the very beginning of the game. I've sort of shuffled the items around, but this is called truth peppers. You may re-roll an opponent's dice. That sounds like it could work. But I think I'm going to do olive oil because I want some healing. I'm going to do fresh sauce. I'm going to have a balanced pizza. This is a vegetable pizza with some extra olive oil, some nice fresh sauce, and some truth peppers because I want to know the truth. Pizza serving time. So we see a line here. We see the guard. We have, ooh, in another era, this building was a coffin factory. Club Low kept the sign. If you press shift, you can see everything you can interact with in this space. Let's interact with the puddle. Yes, the reflection in the puddle. So there are certain things you can only do one time, and there are things you can keep doing again and again if you don't succeed. If you succeed, you've done it. But I don't know. I mean, I'm building up my cooking. I'm actually going to add a little bit more to my cooking so that I can drink from the puddle. I really want to just do it. I think it's time. Moshe Linka. Shoutouts to Moshe. Really, really good to see you in the chat. This is a somewhat impromptu stream, but I wanted to do something fun for the Stream Fest, for the Steam Next Fest. I've been road testing the demo a little bit, and yeah, for those of you just tuning in, this is me live streaming the demo in its current form, and you can try it yourself. Definitely open to feedback. Definitely open to the experience that you have with my new game. So you drink from the puddle, hoping it will give you some sustenance. Summon the water god. Interesting. Okay, so it looks like I tied. So it looks like I'm gonna get my cash. This is a new quality of life feature I'm putting in the next build, where you can see your cash as you're rolling. You don't have to guess later, do the calculation. So I'm definitely gonna make $1, which is okay if it's a 99-cent slice. I'm gonna re-roll this pizza die. Maybe I'll make a little more money. Nope. I get one more roll, so I'm going to try it. Roll that. Yeah, there we go. So $1 plus the 2 in pizza tips. Unsure, refreshed, smelling like the city. Yeah, so I lost those conditions, but I've gained unsure and refreshed. So I don't know if I like that pizza, but I'm definitely refreshed. Or I don't know if I like that puddle water, but it feels really, it's really tasty in a certain way. So the nourishment from the rain-soaked puddle is real. Let me see if I can pull something out of it. Ooh, I might have clicked too quickly. Do you have a saxophone sheet music for the song For All the Gamblers? I think I do, because I asked my neighbor at the time, Jerome, to play it for me, and I think I have it. Just played the demo and I'm so stoked. Shout outs to Little Sally Sue. Thank you for playing the demo. Glad you enjoyed it. Cool. So I'm gonna get $3. No pizza tips. Maybe I'll get some pizza tips here. One more time. No. $3 is alright. I can work with $3. I think I'm gonna. Oh! I got more factory mozzarella. Can never have too much. Little reminder, this is my inventory. Cool. I don't want to mess with the puddle anymore. I want to explore. So I could talk to these people. I have to wait in the back of the line and kind of sneak my way up. Which I could do. I could distract the crowd. I could intimidate, or I could inconspicuously attempt to cut the line. Hey, shoutouts to Fireskaw. Thank you, Fireskaw. Glad that you're having a good time. Hope you enjoy this next one too. It's definitely a new direction, but it's still in the spirit of my past work. And I think that's like what I want to get across here. It's this feeling of this is a different type of game. It's not a first person game. There's more UI, there's more like decision making in terms of like dice, there's specific gameplay, but all of the intention, all of what I want and the decisions that I made when I was making and have made first person games, I'm applying that creative energy to this, to the RPG format. This is I always love playing CRPGs, and then before the pandemic, I was playing a lot of computer role play or tabletop role playing regularly on Wednesday nights in Brooklyn, and that energy is something I really wanted to capture for this. But I knew I needed to do a bit of UI, a bit of it created a matrix of design challenges that I've been slowly, methodically working through and trying to apply my creative problem solving to for about 2 years. So Fire Ska asks, is this game going to be a lot longer than your other ones? That's a good question. I'd say that the scope of this game is actually not that different. My last 2 games, if you really took your time, they were about 2-ish hours each. This, if you take your time, this is one mission in a nightclub. That's probably north of 2 hours if you're really working through it. But this game has 11 endings, so there's definitely a lot of different ways you could play this game. Like there's so that you could go in, like here's the side door. You saw there was the front door, and you also saw that there was a fire escape. Out to the chat, if there's a specific entrance you want me to try to get in, I will. I'll take the first request. But this is, in a way, it's like the spirit of the immersive sim. Like there's several ways in, there's several ways out, and the whole mission could play out a number of different ways. So, okay. I'm gonna try, yeah, okay, we'll go through the front, straightforward. Bin's garbage pile. I might have a shot. It's risky, but I might have a shot, and I have a truth pepper, so I could potentially re-roll the next their dice, if the garbage bin's dice, if I had to. But I tied, so hey, why not? And I'll just accept it. Yeah, I'll get $5. Unfortunately, I'm smelling like the city again. And I got gray matter. This is a double heal, but so far I haven't had to worry about healing because I've been playing pretty safe. Let's see. Jump for the ladder. I'm gonna just show you what happens if I don't win, if I fail a roll, or if I take a risk too far. Now, I am really concentrating, so I might weirdly work this out. But you just never know. Let's find out. I think the spirit of this is also to just try stuff and to not worry whatever happens. Yeah, I'm in trouble. I intentionally don't put percentages or hard ratios in here because I want players to just kind of go by feel and intuition. It's very, in a way, it's kind of musical. I wanted it to feel like you're playing in a way that is expressive rather than mathematical. But the math is obviously there. It's kind of under the hood, and it still needs to feel tense and engaging. But the actual decision making, I want it to feel instinctual. Do the different character mental states give you new options or just buff the ones you get? They all affect the skills that you have. So this truth pepper is going to let me re-roll the ladder. So maybe I can roll the ladder lower. And also I want to re-roll really concentrating, and maybe I want to get some money and re-roll my dice. So I'm going to re-roll all my dice. Alas, I kind of got the same thing. We'll just do one more time. Let's just see what happens. Yeah. Alas, I made $2. But the target is now daunting, and I pulled a muscle, and I'm not concentrating anymore. So unfortunately, that gambit didn't work. And if I try to do that again, I'm going to be doing it with a pulled muscle and the target, and it's a daunting thing for me to do. Often failure will make the opponent's challenges harder for that specific action. I can still examine for details. I could still try to be asked to be let up, but that's really risky. I could really hurt myself. So I'm going to take the suggestion of trying to get into the front. And I'm going to get in the back of the line while smelling like the city. You are the last in line full of rowdy misfits, all wondering, when will the bouncer move things along? I'm not very wise, but I like the idea of distracting the crowd with a timeless parable. I could do the wild dancing, even though I pulled a muscle. This is kind of risky. Or I can inconspicuously attempt to cut the line. I might need to do this, or I might feel, I think I just want to try it. Because then at least I'll kind of shake off smelling like the city, I'll pull a muscle. We'll see what happens. Reroll this. Make some money. Just see what happens. That's not good. This dice rolling, I mentioned this in my previous stream, but this is inspired by Yahtzee. This is what Yahtzee did historically, and then King of Tokyo. And a lot of these dice games, these board dice games, are influenced by this sense of you roll a handful of dice, you get to keep what you want, and then you get, on average, 2 more rounds. So you can roll dice up to 3 times, and you get the best of that. So it gives you a sense of when to stop, when to go, when to push your luck, when to not. It's not just a flat, we're just going to roll and hope for the best. It gives the player a little bit more choice in what they're doing. Didn't work, but I did make some money. So I think I'm going to give myself a little more deceptive power. Try to get to the front of the line. It gets progressively more expensive to up your skills. But that's true of any RPG system. To my knowledge, I don't know. There might be systems that are cheaper to update your skill, but I don't know what they are. Let's try it again. I don't have those conditions anymore. Ooh, I think I got this in the bag. Trying to get some cash out of the deal. This is great. 7 right out of the gate. So to the comment of wording different options and actions, my goal for this game was to really try to merge the theme of what you're doing with the mechanics. Like, this is a much more mechanics-driven game than my past work, and but I wanted it to always feel like it made thematic sense. So even if you look at something like Embarrassed, it says, I wish I hadn't done that. It affects cooking, music, physique, wisdom, and wit. All of those things, if you were embarrassed in real life, you would be embarrassed. Like, you'd be embarrassed to cook. Like, oh God, I'm making this meal. Like, I feel so bad. This salad is overdressed, or I'm playing this music and I just feel like I'm hitting all the wrong notes. And like physique, like I can't, dance without feeling a little embarrassed. Wisdom, it's like, what do I really think I know that I know? And then wit, it's like you try to be witty in a social situation, but if you're embarrassed, you're gonna feel like you're forcing it. So, and then when those things happen, you lose your mind, your nerve in this case, your mental energy. You sort of have you become more self-conscious, or you become embarrassed in this case, and eventually it runs out and you're like, I can't deal, and it's game over. So to answer the question of, these are both kind of risky, but I think I'm gonna go for it. Actually, I'm gonna change my pizza dice so I can heal up a bit. Let's see. Could you add the ability to start an action directly from the level up menu? As in, I think I might want a bit more. If you could explain that a bit more. So right now, I'm here making these choices. I can level up and still change things from within my choices. But yeah, DJ Scratch's Dip, if you want to expound on that a bit more, I'd definitely be open to hearing what you have to say. Let's do some wild dancing. Inspirations for animations on the character, Sir Carto. Are your animations just random moves? No, I'm using an IK system, inverse kinematics, inside of Unity, so it's basically like puppetry. I sort of have these different control points, and I just map to the hands and the feet and the hips and the shoulders and the head, and I just sort of have it's basically like a marionette, and I just recorded them to look like they're doing something that's visibly relevant to the action. I don't know if that answers your question clearly, but it's definitely, it's not motion capture by any stretch. It's very just, I did it based on, again, expressivity and almost like toys, almost like these are like these sort of wind-up toys that are just playing out in this sort of toy-like world. The crowd is neither intimidated nor impressed. I could keep trying, but I don't know. It feels a little risky. I'll try Wisdom again. The good thing about that is that I got healed. And maybe I'll get lucky with my roll. Alas. You are thrown off. I think I'll be back. So there's one thing I'd like to feature, and this is kind of an undocumented feature, but you've probably seen it in some screenshots. This isn't the only dice rolling way to roll dice. There's another way, and this kind of came out of development. As I was developing the dice system, I kind of had a few different ways of doing it, a few different prototypes, and I hit on another one. You have the classic dice drop where they just fall, and here we have face to face, and this is entirely different. Let's try this. Let's make the dice bounciness really low. This might get me in trouble, but I'm willing to try it. The bouncer sizes you up, annoyed that he wasn't included in a pizza order. So he's mad at me because I basically cut the line. So this is automatically like an incredibly risky maneuver by just going up to him. But perhaps, I'll just try this. I'm going to just insist that I'm here to deliver a pizza to Chep. Now you can see this is the other way of rolling dice. It's basically a dice tower. It's these two different dice towers. And when you push the button, they fall into these two heads, this sort of head-to-head system, and they tumble. And they sometimes don't land flat, so you have to kick the table. This is already a bad idea, but for the purposes of demonstration, I'm willing to just try it. And I didn't lose any health. I just got seriously in trouble. target is onto me. Something about this story isn't adding up to me. It's just that you're here. I could do it again, but it's more risky now because the bouncer is onto me. They sense that I'm totally pulling a fast one. So wrestle the guard to the ground. That's now I'm really asking for it. I don't want to do that to myself quite yet. Oh, I could call up a favor and ask, ask for a favor. But these are very risky. This guard is pretty mean. So I'm going to reconsider my options here. So the level up menu is highlighting which skills are relevant, but having to exit back out, you get lost with which ones you were planning to do. Yeah, I would say I want to hear more about this idea. So go in, if you have access to the Discord, definitely go in there and we can talk about it further. There's plenty of ways to finesse the UI still. I do have some months, and if there's an opportunity to make things more clear that's within scope, I will do it, or I will really consider it, and see if it works within the rest of my production schedule. So yeah, just keep the suggestions coming, because this is an ongoing back and forth between this game and all of you who are playing it now. I'd say the game has improved tremendously since I did the closed alpha in February, and then the beta through the spring. I mean, this game couldn't be what it is without your feedback. So yeah, you haven't got a stretched muscle anymore. No, I don't. I got that out of my system. Let's see if I can jump for the ladder again. My physique is not great, but observation is a low risk affair, so I'm gonna just go for it. Yeah, I mean, you don't need to play the demo right away. It's I was multitasking there, but yeah, you can wait till it's out. It'll be out in September. But if you just can't wait and you just want to get your hands on a taste, you can. So it's really up to you. Let's see. Oh, I can ask to be let up nicely. Yes, I think it's actually really awesome that you could play these. I've actually gotten a lot of people tell me they play my games with partners or with friends, or at a table with someone else. That's kind of become a thing for a lot of people. So that's awesome, because when I was younger, I grew up, there were friends of mine, and I'd go over to their house and they'd come to mine, and we'd be playing like an adventure game or an RPG or whatever, and we'd basically be doing that. We'd be playing cooperatively, side by side, in front of a screen, saying, "Oh, we should do this, or you should try this, or let me drive, or oh, don't miss that." And it does deepen the experience, or it makes it a certain level of. It creates this relationship between you, the game, and the person or people you're playing with, and I think that's really great. And I hope this offers that opportunity as well. Hey, what do you know? Someone, somewhere, heard your sad story. The ladder comes down. Yeah, why not? I'll just enter. So far, so good. Yeah, here we go. So another basil. And we get another pizza. So by getting up into the club, we gain the power of the grandma pie, which is just another pizza, another dicey roll, which gives you more options. And those options are going to be healing and a little bit of a pizza tips multiplier. This is where we want to try to get some nice dice combos to really roll in that money. Pizza's a very lucrative industry. Pizza, and then we won't leave out the truth peppers. Yeah, you could definitely already get up there. There's multiple ways in. Let's go here. The mirror is cold, and you feel a face peer into your being. What's in here? Yeah, cheese on a grandma's pie. I know, it's a little unorthodox, but we're gonna go with it. Amuse the mirror with a humorous tale. See, the problem is I have all these conditions from my misadventures downstairs, so hopefully I won't make the same. Hopefully this won't come to haunt me. I'm gonna sing at this. No, I'm not gonna sing. I'm gonna amuse the mirror with the tail, and yeah. Just give myself a little bit more wit. You attempt to detail the circumstances you find yourself in with a straight face. So in about 5-ish minutes, I'm gonna give you a window into some of the music. Okay, 5, -3. That's an awful roll, but you know, at least I'm making money. Actually, I kind of want to re-roll. I'm gonna try to get that truth pepper so I can. No. A little better. I'm not hurting from that. Yeah, at least I got healed, but the target is unamused. I'm thrown off. So maybe I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna try to do the humorous tale, but I think this is a little riskier, but I still might win. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm thinking also, if any of you out there are streamers or like to stream to your followers or friends, that could be an opportunity to also get suggestions or feedback on what decisions to make with your streaming crew. Alas. Not me much. Amuse the humor, amuse the mirror, cajole the desk with song. I could keep going, but I'm gonna look around. Okay, so we have, this is like the green room in a club. I don't know who of you have performed recently or semi-recently, but basically, you know, every club, every stage has a backstage where you the band waits and gets ready, and right now it looks like this the money in the bag. There's a green-haired gentleman with cash. Jorg, Chad Blueprint's manager, counting the night's take. So engrossed by the tactility of the money, Jorg takes a moment to fully acknowledge your presence. Who let you up here? Chad didn't ask for pizza tonight. We're done doing sponsorships. What is it then? So this is also coming from me wanting to not have a super wordy game. I actually want to keep the dialogue really snappy. So instead of there being all this dialogue of you trying to impress Jorg by going deep on music, it just says you do it. And I let the player imagine what they're doing, and then I show it with the animation, and then I let it play out with the dice. So I leave a lot of the talking to be inferred, to be assumed. So let's see. Ooh, that's a tricky one. Ooh, let you try fruit. I'm a little low on my numbers here. I feel like this Jorg's dangerous. I'm not ready for Jorg. this door. As a policy to prevent DJ entourages from crashing the stage, the green room door stays locked during the performance. Yeah, shout outs to Brutal Moose. I know he wanted to see this stream. If he's there, thank you for tuning in. If not, I'm recording it for posterity, so it'll be up on YouTube. Okay. Also, difficult roles, but you know, say you're with security and demand to be let through. I am totally with security. I'm going to tell whoever's on the other side that I mean business, and I do mean business because I have tied this role. I get $4. I get 4 in tips. I am definitely ready. I don't even mind that I lost some nerve here. I'm just going for it. So yeah. Here's something stumbling on the other side. A door lock being adjusted. It is open. Are we gonna get some info on Caetano Grosso? Yes, you are. This game, for me, felt like I wanted to try this system, and I wanted to make it feel interesting and entertaining so that I could build on it and once again revisit the street corner of Tales from Off-Peak City Volume 1. So that's ultimately the next goal, is to go deeper into the story of the people we're dealing with. This is a moment in time, but there's more to be said about all these people. If I go in here, the demo's going to end, and I'm not quite sure I'm ready to end the demo yet. So we got some clues. I was able to get into the green room. Let's go in here. I'm going to try to do 2 things. I'm going to try to get through this lasers, because this club is full of traps. This club is not a club that you just can waltz through easily. Here off in the distance we see our DJ Chad Blueprint rocking the decks on some old coffins. But here we have decisions to make. So, deduce the inverted frequency. Disguise your voice to fool the laser override. I might have a shot at this. So I'm gonna enhance my deception and hope for the best. Laser voice detection system versus deception. You try to mimic a stern authoritarian security voice, hoping the override system will acknowledge it. This was a problem. This was a big disaster. Or was it? Let's see. A little less of a disaster. If I can hit this +1, all will be right. Alas. So it didn't work. And now the trap springs on me. I must endure this laser. So this is where everything's going smooth, but things could take a turn. And my physique isn't great. So let's hope for the best. Sometimes you just need to take it. Kick the table. Yeah. Oof. Now, the good thing is, I endure the laser, but I do so at a cost. So let's see. Maybe it won't be as bad as I think it is. And I'll make some money. Because even lasers, there's a profit to be had from a security system. Okay. Do I want that? Because now I see I'm only making $3. I could make some more money. Or I could keep my health in a good place. I think I'm going to keep my health in a good place and just commit. I'm relieved. Not frustrated. Pass through the laser. See a laser. And so I think we're winding down to the end of the demo. So what I'm going to do is actually give you a little taste of some of the music. Let's see, what's it look like here? Okay, so this is... I'll go to my streaming. So this is some music software. I think this is the right thing. Yeah, this is Bitwig. I'm using new music software, Bitwig, for this. I'd been using Ableton for years, but I wanted a new approach. This is the track from... This is the theme, and it's not a huge arrangement. Some djembe. I did some live djembe recording. Do I have the right sound? Yes, I should. Get some cellos over here. We got a synth. I really like Bitwig. It's super fun to use this. Get the melody. Well, actually, we don't have a melody. I actually really like to mute certain things up front. Like I usually have a lot of ideas and then I take them away and try to build them up slowly. Yeah. Oh, looks like I looped it. But that's all I'm going to show for this. If I could do a more in-depth music stream closer to the release of the game. I think for the purposes of this next fest, I want to keep it on the game itself. So there it is. I think once I reach here, yeah, the demo ends. We arrive at the end of the demo, and I'm gonna arrive at the end of my chat. Do you know when your next stream will be happening? I don't, but I think I'm going to try to schedule it closer to the release of the game. I'm going to try to get some steady stream scheduling happening, because there's a lot of things I'd like to stream, things I'd like to talk about leading into this game. The music, obviously, the system a little bit more. Yeah, basically, there's a lot of things there's a lot of ground to cover here, and if there's specific facets you're curious about, I want to know about them. So definitely reach out in my Discord. I will post a link to it here, actually, in the chat. Those of you who are not members of the Discord yet, by all means, we post a lot of art and music recommendations, and we talk about games, and it's very laid back. It's very much in the spirit of my games. Everyone's welcome. Everybody has a good time. It's a place to get inspired. So and share what you're working on too. So anyway, thank you everybody who tuned in. Thank you out to the chat, out to everybody who dug into the chat. And thank you for everybody who's playing the demo right now and giving feedback. It's super helpful. It's super satisfying to see everybody kind of come around this new experience and this new direction for me. I'm certainly excited about it. It comes from a place of joy and playfulness and curiosity and exploration and expressivity and creativity, and I could go on. But I think that's it. Steam Next Fest was fun. We got a lot done, and I hope that we can do more of this live back and forth. Here, I'll end it with a bit of audio. Can I do audio? No, it won't let me do audio from the game anymore. But that's okay, because has come to a close. Try the demo. Keep me posted. I will certainly keep you posted. Twitter, Discord, Steam. And yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in once again. Have a fine weekend. You all earned it. So enjoy it.